Yet another TTK video for carbines, and that is because we got the introduction of the SOR 300SC along with Battlefield REDSEC, which introduces an armor plate system, which then increases time to kill for weapons overall. So we'll be making TTK videos all over again, but this time for Battlefield REDSEC. This video is going to be on the carbines because, like I said, we got a new carbine and we're going to go through each one of them and allow you to decide which one is the best one for you, because there's quite a lot of options when it comes to the carbines for whether you want it more based around recoil control, especially if you're playing the Battle Royale at further ranges, or if you just want something that kills the absolute quickest. This video is going to cover it. So all of our data is taken from battlefinity.gg, and this is based on chest shots only at 200 HP. Now 200 HP in this game means you've got 2 full armor plates, and that is the HP for Battlefield REDSEC. And obviously you can have 1 armor plate as well, but we don't want to complicate things too much by adding in headshots and 1 armor plate and things like that. We do want to keep this pretty simple, so we'll do the best case scenario, which is 2 armor plates and landing all chest shots. And as you can see, we've got all the weapons here listed, as well as the new gun down at the very bottom. Now we're going to organize for the fastest close range TTK, which is 0 to 10 meters. Not a lot of your engagements are going to be in this range, but if you are point blank range, then carbines are a pretty solid choice because they are well-rounded weapons. Now as you can see, the SG553R comes out on top. Then we've got the M41782 and then M4A1 carbine. Then the new carbine kind of sits in the middle of the pack at super close range. It's not the best close range gun, but we'll get on into what this gun does do well as we go through this time to kill list. Then we've got the 10 to 40 meter range, which is pretty much going to be most of your engagements in general, not necessarily just with carbines. So as you can see, the M277 comes out on top. This gun actually has one of the best time to kills across the board for carbines in terms of all ranges. Then we've got the M4A1. Again, the M4 usually sits kind of near the top anyway for the most part. Then we've got the SG553R again, and then we've got the GRT. Now we're going to be organizing for the next range, which is the 40 to 80 meter range, and this is kind of the max range I would recommend using a carbine at. Now they are relatively competitive with assault rifles at this range and at their furthest range, depending on which assault rifle and which carbine you're comparing, but for the most part you do want to pick maybe something else that's a bit more accurate, or even go for the more accurate carbines themselves. So as you can see here, when it comes to that 40 to 80 meter range, we've got the M277. Again, this gun comes out on top for time to kill pretty much all the time after this point. Then we've got the M4, which is a very well balanced gun, right? It's got decent recoil control, but also has really good time to kill numbers. And the M4 is always going to sit up there. The GRT is actually a really solid option as well. And I do think this is a pretty solid gun if you do like to have a slightly slower fire rate, because the M4 does fire pretty quickly. So it's just going to be personal preference there. And then we've got the M41782 once again. And then I do want to quickly just point out, and we'll just quickly show you the final range as well. So this is the 80 to 120 meter range, and again you can see the M277, M4A1, GRT, QBZ at this point. The QBZ is a well balanced gun. It kind of sits right in the middle all the time, and I actually quite like the feel of the QBZ. I think it's a good carbine. Most of these guns have a really good identity, and they all kind of feel different to some extent, so it really doesn't really matter which one you pick, because they all have their own pros and cons, obviously, but we're showing you this to show you which ones have the fastest time to kill, right? Because even the SOR 300SC and the AK205, both of those guns have the slower time to kills, but both of those guns are the 2 most accurate carbines in the game, so it's going to really come down to preference on this point. So to quickly pick out 3 carbines that I think have a good balance between recoil control and time to kill. First up, we've got the GRT. It kind of sits in the top 3 for the most part at every single time to kill range. And what that means is it's always going to be very competitive across the board. It might not be the fastest time to kill gun in any of the select ranges, but you'll be able to compete if you're landing your shots. Also, it fires a little bit slower as well, which I think actually helps out, especially if you want to make sure you're landing every single shot. So that makes it really solid too. Then we've got Then we've got the trusty M4A1. This gun always sits at the top of the rankings when it comes to carbines inside Battlefield 6, whether it's for the multiplayer or whether it's for REDSEC, it doesn't matter, because it always has a very competitive time to kill. And that is across the board for almost every single range on this gun. It always sits in almost the top 2 all the time. So the M4 is almost a no-brainer. It's the first gun you unlock as well. So, I mean, if you've just started playing REDSEC for free to play, this is a solid gun, by the way, so you're not going to be disappointed whatsoever. Next up, we've got the QBZ, and the QBZ is just a well-rounded gun in general. It competes very well against every single weapon at every single range, and the good thing about it is that you will be landing your shots with this gun without a doubt, and that's what makes it pretty solid, because the time to kill values that you see is the ones that you're likely to actually get with this weapon, because it is a super accurate gun and it has almost no bloom. If you are tap firing it, I think it's just a very, very solid weapon overall. So I think the QBZ is a really solid pick. So this is a TTK video, but I do want to quickly show you the recoil on the new carbine. As you can see, it's just super low recoil, and this gun has almost no bloom as well. I'm firing completely full auto here at range and landing almost every single shot as well. Then we've got the AK-205 as well, which is arguably more accurate than the new carbine. This gun is an absolute laser beam, to be honest, and it can easily hit shots at range with very little bloom, almost no bloom actually, and also very little recoil as well. So we're waiting for this dummy to come back so I can just show you that quickly once more. Now, those two guns that I've just shown you are very accurate guns, right? They're actually super low recoil, very easy to use, and people might like that, just landing their shots at range, especially if they like using a carbine that has slightly better mobility as well. So there's a lot of benefits to using these two weapons, but when you compare them to time to kills against assault rifles, LMGs, and even marksman rifles, you're going to struggle to actually get kills at that range, because some of those other guns are just as accurate as these carbines, but are going to perform even better in terms of time to kill at those ranges. So it's just something you do need to be careful of when you're trying to select which weapon you want, and that's the reason why I like to look at the TTK numbers, especially at those further ranges. So if you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe, and also like this video if you want to see the rest of the kind of series of this for the assault rifles, LMGs, and the marksman rifles as well. And thank you very much for watching.